Ahoy hoy family, it's your girl T, also known as nappy-headed jojoba, not nappy, not jojoba, nappy-headed jojoba. You have to say the whole thing. It's like Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. And why, yes, that is in fact theater with an R-E on the end, because one thing about Charles Excellent Cheese, he may be a walking health code violation, but he's Anglo vermin, so put some respect on his Pizza Time Theater, okay? This has already gone off the rails. Hey y'all, it's a lukewarm tea today. That means it's my hot takes on cold tea. Now with occasional tangents on pizzerias owned by rodents, apparently. Off we go. Is this the day where I finally talk about Nick Cannon? Alright, let's do this. To tell the truth, I'm kind of at a loss here. Nick and his canon have been very busy these past few years. This week we learned that baby number 12 is on the way, which means that by next year, Nick will have 10 children under age 6. The twins he had with Mariah Carey will be 11 or 12. I can't keep track, but I think there are 2, maybe even 3 buns in various ovens around town right now. And Nick Cannon is finna find out that babies are in fact not cheaper by the dozen. I am very curious to see the terms in these contracts. What persuaded these women to think that letting Nick raw dog them repeatedly was a come up? We're not going to dwell on that choice of words, because as loony as this man is looking right now, these women are looking just as loony. They all live in funny. We don't even need to dig into the fact that it is not possible for him to be in this many children's lives in any meaningful way. Plenty of commentary has been made about him creating a bunch of broken homes and kids doomed to lifetimes of abandonment issues. Instead, let's actually debunk the moronic defense that at least he can afford it. Meaning, Cannon can afford to treat creating actual human beings as some kind of flex, the same way most celebrities flex with, you know, watches, stuff like that. Even though Nick Cannon does have more money than regular people, I think it's dubious to think he can actually afford this many kids. Not with the caliber lifestyle a person like such as Nick Cannon would expect for himself and his now many offspring. Nick, I gotta ask this. Is it crack? Or are you starting some kind of polygamous cult that Mariah will definitely never join? What is the goal here? Will the public ever be free from these embarrassing maternity photo shoots? Because the equally ghetto Elon Musk with his 10 kids and 3 baby mamas so far, thanks to having absolutely no ethics, he's the richest man in the world, unless this ever-burning Twitter dumpster fire finally takes him down. And can't lie, I'm enjoying watching it burn. Anyway, Nicolas, I'm guessing that as a multi-billionaires, Ellen has a safety deposit box of South African blood emeralds for each of them 10 kids. I hope your residuals from Wildin' Out are long, because if not, it's time to start pitching some new shows. Oh, how about you do a reboot of Cribs, right? Except it's a game show where every episode is you in a maternity ward, and you have to guess which babies are yours. Spoiler, they all are. In every episode. For some reason, Aubrey Graham's ghostwriter decided to jump on the whole Meg the Stallion is lying train, and of course there was a whole lot of drama about that this week. This happened in some song on Aubrey's new collab album with 21 Savage, Her Loss. I ain't heard the album, I ain't even heard the song in question, don't need to. Why on earth would I spend my time listening to a Drake album when KD3 just dropped? I ain't finna test drive a Geo when I already know I'm getting an Aston Martin like 4 days later, please. Anyway, I did read the offending bars, and although this one was heat, I gotta admit, that made me snort and I felt bad. Meg did respond basically to say, now why am I in it? But we all know exactly why they did this. It's for this moment right now and myriad others like it. It's to get people talking. But in the pursuit of outrage marketing and publicity, I'm pretty exhausted by how lightly it is taken when the collateral damage is making light of a woman's trauma, a Black person's trauma, and most certainly a Black woman's trauma. It's just always okay. I legit don't even understand how there is still a debate about whether Meg lied about getting shot in the first place. Seriously, how are people still debating this? That's already bizarre enough, but the males who, unprompted, keep going up for travel-sized lanes when it would have been just as easy, I dare say easier, to say nothing. These males are going out of their way to be on the wrong side of history. Justin Hunt, aka the company man, not that company man, Justin did a dope analysis of this situation. TT, roll the clip.
Media representing us can't even agree that it's in at least bad taste to taunt Black women. That's the energy of this week. Community, protecting our own. the possibility of a disenfranchised population beginning to come together. Then at the tail end of the week, a Jewish Canadian rapper publicly mocks a black woman from Texas for no reason who was allegedly shot by another Canadian rapper, and half our community chalks it up to bars and rap beef. I mean, think about this. There's no discussion about whether the song should be taken off the album or whether Drake should donate $500,000 to a black women's organization. There's no discussion about whether black media or hip hop media will cease covering Drake until he apologizes. This is the lowest hanging fruit possible, actually. The lowest hanging fruit possible. If we can't check this, then what are we even talking about?
Right? I will link him in the D box so you can watch the full thing. Justin has been around a long time as a journalist in hip hop, so I really enjoy his breakdown. Last but not least, let's talk about the so-called red wave that did not materialize in the results of this week's midterm election. I did an entire video the day of on my Patreon, so you should really check me out over there if you haven't already. But suffice to say, I and many others wrongly predicted much more severe L's for the Democrats than what we actually saw this week. There have been many times in my life where I have been delighted to be wrong, but this ain't one of them. It's a shrug for me, dog. Make no mistake, I wasn't wishing for the red wave. I merely thought it was inevitable due to the relentless, pathetic failures of the Democratic Party to do anything, really. But those of y'all who are familiar with my political outlook, you know that when I am asked if I am a Democrat or if I am a Republican, the answer is no. This tweet articulates my feelings perfectly. Both parties are trash and the two-party system is just the dumpster. Everything we are seeing is just the ratchet effect playing out. The only thing the Democratic Party does is enforce the status quo, meaning the continued consolidation of wealth and the enforcement of poverty in a fascist framework. Oh yes, fascism ain't coming, it's here. Been here. And the Democrats do this with Red Scare tactics, and by that I mean uniting people against right-wing Handmaid's Tale-esque dystopian extremes while also demonizing and discrediting anything actually progressive as deranged commie nonsense. Though I still vote, it is mainly because ancestors died for me to have that right, and I was raised Catholic, so inability to put guilt down, it's elite level with me. But I am fully cognizant that elections decide only who wears the mask of power, not who actually holds the power. The people most responsible for running the world aren't even elected. The people we elect answer to them, never to us. None of them are on our side, fam. They are not for us. Remember the old saying, poor people vote, rich people lobby? So like I said, the fact that the red wave didn't make a splash, that ain't a win for us, dog. I've come to live my life in a way where I focus on the small picture, not the big picture. What is within my power and control to improve things within my communities? If my commitment to liberation and community uplift begins and ends with voting, then I ain't committed at all. That's master's house and master's tools. I also have to remain committed to my own liberation and uplift. Project Exodus, y'all. I no longer discuss my particular timeline and updates on here for my safety and privacy, but the objective ain't changed. That's all I'ma say about that. I'm actually about to watch Drumline with my Patreon fam in a bit. I'm dead ass. It's movie night and it just seemed like the perfect opportunity to travel back in time to when them 1 dozen and counting babies were but a twinkle in Nick Cannon's balls, as the old saying goes. But I gotta go. Thanks for hanging out with me all the way up to this point, which is the end of the video. You a real one for that. But until the next time I see you on Al Gore's internet, make sure you stay safe, stay dangerous, and never trust a man who ends Twitter instead of ending world hunger. Bye.
That's a nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.